Okay, I'm live. Come on in. Oh, hi Mason. Hi Customs. How are you? Okay. Don't forget to hit my thumb. Just don't hurt it too bad, okay? Hey Midnight. Hey Show Man. How are you guys? Oh. Be the Cryptid. Hello. How are you? Nice to see you guys here. Oh. Well, it's almost time for him to go to bed, ain't it? I haven't been to sleep since noon yesterday. And I'm still going. So today we will be reading some stories. I'm going to read out of the Civil War because everybody really likes this book. So I'll be reading out of this one. And, excuse me, I'm missing a book. It's right there. Oh, I'm missing two books. I think that's what we're in on this one. Short stories. And I'll read a few short stories tonight. And where are you? I know you're here, but where? Ah, found her. See, I got a full battery on my spirit box. So we'll do some spirit box too. What are you doing? Oh, you're making a bed? Thank you for all the thumbs. I really appreciate that. So, I am getting ready to go into the hospital. 2 more days. Oh. Um, I'm thinking. You know how it is. Okay, let's see what stories we... I got it from Ghost Stop. And they are fast getting it to you. I just looked through some stuff and well, I get mine through Amazon. But Ghost Stop is really expensive. If you go like to Amazon, you might get what you want cheaper. I just found me a new camera, night vision on it. It's a video camera. You know what I'm talking about. My camera, my snapshot one, I have a hard time with it. Taking it out. If any trolls come in, leave them alone unless I tell you to. And I don't got any... Do I got any moderators here? Hello, any moderators? Nope. Oh. I don't know you guys. You still here midnight? Who's all here? You just gotta watch. They are expensive. Because I want a REM pod. And it was almost $200 for it. No. Okay, you're here. Okay. Yeah, you can make them. I'm gonna get those cat balls. They've been used those a lot. Because there's a cemetery I want to go to. Yeah, they have them in the Ghost Stop. Is it Ghost Stop? Yeah, Ghost Stop is selling them, and so is Amazon. What are you doing, pumpkin? What are you doing? She's a handful. That one. Any other one? I don't know where she's at. Where are you from, Cryptid? What state? Luigi. Anita! Alright. The woman showed up. I'm trying 7 o'clock out, Anita, before everybody else goes. Because everybody seems like 10 o'clock. So I'm going to try 7 to 9. Don't you spill my pot. And get out of my plants. Figures you're in Florida. Down there where it's warm. Up here it's wet and yucky. Drizzle rain. Yucky, yucky, yucky. Anita, if the trolls come in, just let them. Then if they get too bad, we'll get rid of them. I really don't want to start blocking people. I'm, you know what I mean. Oh, do they? Oh, I'll have to watch it later. Okay, Mason, welcome back. Is it starting to get cold there? Well, it's already cold up here. Thank you, Customs. What is your name, Customs? You too, Crippin. What's your guys' names? Terry. Wayne? Mandy? Well, it's nice to meet ya. Is Shallow Man here, or did he leave? Midnight, your name's James, right? Thank you, guys. What's your name? Yes, Shallow Man? You smell a troll? Where? Yeah, I smell a little bit of one. I don't think I'll get trolled too bad tonight. I went and got my COVID test done today so I could have my surgery. What spray? No, it's troll spray. Yeah, you're James. I figure out what Shallow Man's name is. Hey, Corral! Hello! We have some new people. Oh, if you guys want, go ahead and check everybody out and join their channel. You're allowed here. But no sub to sub. I'm gonna find a story. Yep. Drop your channels. You know how to do it. Okay. First story tonight is called The Trouble with Eden by William H. Wesley, January 1979. In the darkness we could see eerie forms dart out from under the table and moved rapidly around the room before they floated upward and disappeared into the ceiling. A white column mansion furnished with priceless antiques and set under a canopy of moss-draped oaks is the prime attraction in Eden State Gardens and Museum, south of Dufanic Springs, Florida. Although the house was built in 1895, it has the regal splendor and graciousness of the Old South antebellum plantation era. It was named Eden by Lois Maxon, a wealthy New York journalist who bought it in 1963 after spending 5 years and a lot of money on its renovation. She gave the mansion and the garden to the state of Florida. And in the late 1960s, it was open to the public. Visitors who tour the mansion sometimes ask the tour guide, "Has the house ever had any ghosts?" Smiling, she replies, "Yes, and it still has." Everyone in my family knows she speaks the truth, for she is talking about the house my grandfather built and where I lived as a youth. Hi, Christy. How are you? Thank you for being here. Okay, go on with the story. The last time I spent a night in the 122 room family home was in 1950 when I was a college freshman. I was visiting my grandma, Katie Wesley, who had been living alone since my grandfather's death a few months earlier. I lay in a bed listening to the familiar cries of whippoorwills and screech owls and croaking of frogs and the hum of millions of insects when suddenly a sound from inside the house brought back memories of my boyhood. Heavy measured footsteps were slowly moving across the floor of the vacant room above. In the years since I had slept in the old house, I had forgotten the chill that came with those eerie, inexplicable sounds while I held my breath and listened. The footfalls paused, a door closed, and the pacing step faded down the upstairs hall. My father, William H. Wesley Jr., was killed in an automobile accident in June 1936 when I was 5 and my sister Carol only a few weeks old. Much later, I learned that my father seemed to have a premonition of his death. 3 days before the accident, he had had a long, serious talk with his grandmother about various matters that would need attention if anything happens to him. His main concern had been the care of his family after his death. Therefore, my mother, Carlotta, my sister, and I lived with my grandparents for the next 9 years. In the time, many mysterious things occurred. Soon after my death, soon after my father's death, it became a family custom in the winter to gather around the large fireplace in the living room for sessions of reading aloud. I remember well how often the reading was interrupted by footsteps sounding in the seldom used second floor room above, sometimes accompanied by doors slamming or the scraping of moving furniture. In the beginning, mother and grandmother would go upstairs to investigate, but they never found an explanation for the noises. Eventually, it became routine to sit wide-eyed in silence until the racket was over. Then we continued with the reading. Also, on occasion, footsteps and voices were heard, interrupted by footsteps sounding in the first floor hallway and moving along the side porch. My Aunt Mabel Burleson, who lived nearby, called out a familiar greeting, and then we all heard the distinct squeak of hinges and the slamming of the screen door. We waited expectantly for Aunt Mabel to enter the kitchen where we were eating, but she did not come. We left the table and searched for her, thinking she was playing joke on some sort, but we didn't find her. Later in the day, Aunt Mabel did visit, just as mystified by our experience as we were. The second floor room from which noise came during our reading session was once occupied by boarders. A young couple named Poole. On several occasions while her husband was at work, Mrs. Poole heard footsteps approaching her door, then a knock, and a voice saying, "Hello." When she opened the door, she found no one there. She was badly frightened by the experience, and the family had to tell her that such events were not unusual, and at the same time reassured her that nothing more serious than an unwelcome noise would occur. Manifestations other than sounds were part of the eerie event. One of these was the nocturnal appearance of fluffy white cloud-like objects about the size of basketballs, which seemed to float 1 or 2 feet above the ground. The first such object was seen by my grandmother just after the home was first completed in 1895. She was riding a horse about a mile from home just after dark when the strange fluffy ball appeared in the air ahead of her. Her horse was frightened and could not be urged forward. Grandmother told us that she dismounted, tied the horse to a tree, and tried to approach the floating ball on foot. There was no avail, however, for the mysterious form would move a few feet up and down, or hey! On this page. Grandmother told us that she dismounted, tied the horse to a tree, and tried to approach the floating ball on foot. There was to no avail, however, for the mysterious form would move a few feet up or down or to either side, always remaining a fixed distance away. When grandmother stood still, the object stood still. She watched for several minutes until the form rose slowly to a height of 8 or 10 feet, then vanished. About 30 years later, my father encountered this phenomenon. Yeah, that word. He was driving an early model automobile toward home after dark and traveling about 25 miles per hour. When he was within a mile of home, he noticed two fluffy cloud-like balls following him. They were in the roadway about 20 or 30 yards behind his car and remained a fixed distance away regardless of his change of speed. Eventually, father stopped the car and tried to approach the objects on foot, as grandmother had. His results were like hers. The third and final encounter with these puffy balls took place in 1942. The whole family, grandfather, grandmother, mother, my sister, and I were returning from the evening church service. As we entered the front yard, grandmother happened to look back, then called our attention to the two circles of white fluffy floating over the road behind us. Right under our eyes, the two objects suddenly streaked through the still open gate past us and up the sidewalk, up the steps, across the front porch, into the open hallway of the house. Everyone was puzzled and apprehensive, but we slowly followed into the dark hall. At first, we couldn't see anything, but as our eyes grew accustomed to the darkness, all of us saw the forms dart out from under the corner table near the stairway. After performing several swift, erratic maneuvers over the table and stairs, they finally seemed to disappear through the ceiling. I gotta find the word ceiling. Well, I can just one of my personal encounters with the unexplainable took place about a year later in 1943 when I was 12. After I went to bed one night, I heard someone walking barefooted through my darkened room. Thinking mother was going to turn on the light and talk to me, I waited. Nothing happened for several minutes. Then my bed felt as if someone had sat down on the edge. I still thought it was mother, and I spoke to her. Getting no answer, I reached out to where I expected her to be. I felt only thin air. Suddenly realizing that no physical harm had made the depression in my mattress, I got out of bed quickly and turned on the light, and of course there was no one there. Mother had been asleep in her own room, all alone, and couldn't offer no explanation for my experience. The final event involving my family was a dream my sister had. After the family home was sold, when grandmother died in the early 1950s, the house stood vacant for many years and fell into despair. During this period, Carol had her dream. Describing the dream to me, she emphasized that everything was in vivid color and realistic. Although she recognized the old family home, it was not dilapidated, but shiny in bright new splendor, filled with elegant furniture and surrounded by beautiful, well-kept grounds. Years later, when we first visited the house, after it had been restored and the grounds landscape, Carol reminded me of her dream and explained, "This is exactly the way I saw the house in that dream." Ugh. Wow. Another one in the Georgia. That was something. Hi, Jules. How are you? That's good. Yeah, I got a lot of cool stories. I'm going to read a few short stories now. Um, I haven't been to sleep since noon yesterday. I've been awake since noon yesterday. I got surgery coming on Thursday, and I think that's what's wrong. Getting fidgety. Well, happy birthday! 2 to 3 hours, my surgery is. And an hour and a half for recovery. Now I gotta figure out which ones I want to read. Um, ah, thank you, Anita. Cameron here. Where you going? Oh, we're a drink. Where's it? This one I want. Okay. There's my kitty. Hi, Crooker. Okay. This one's called The Little Black Dog. Tony! Hi, hon. How are you? Okay. Now I gotta call the hospital tomorrow to see what time I gotta be there.
Get out of there. Barry?
Huh? I gotta go. I gotta go. With Tomato getting ready to have back surgery. I'll be right back. Yes?
And you can't though.
Okay, I need two little ones.
You're behind the stand.
Back there? Get out of there! Little shit.
Oh, one's on top of the purse now.
Yeah. I got one here I'm trying to catch. There it goes!
Got up too quick.
Where is he? I got you. Okay, let's go find the other one. Come on, Crook. Hey! Get her out here. Come on. Yeah. Hold on, we gotta get a cat. Oh, everybody knows you. Come on, Pumpkin.
Harry,
What?
and your cat's up.
I'm looking for an orange one.
Under the put your bed.
Oh, hello. Look, you're not helping any.
Oh, yeah, she is. Trying to help her kitten. Get it?
No. All right. I don't see her anywhere. Oh, hang on. Come on, cat. Now where is she?
Don't know. Put that one in that box and close it up, and then go look for the other one.
ain't through yet.
You want me to wrangle it when it comes through?
Yeah, you can. I'm not finding it out here.
Have you looked up under my bed? Yeah, here it is, and I can't get to it. Get it?
Look at it. Where'd it go? God damn you! Oh, get out of there!
It's over here someplace, there.
I see her.
Oh, you fucking little bitch.
Yes, I got it.
You got her?
Yeah. Okay, come on.
Those two gotta go.
Come on. Come on. Get in there. I'm back. I'll read a story as soon as I catch my breath. Hi, Joe. Hi, Dave. Hello, Wolfie. Thank you. Oh, had a kitten I couldn't get a hold of. I'll be okay. I'm gonna go get my inhaler. I need my inhaler.
You give me some more of them candy bars.
Yeah.
You need a what?
Oh, 3 souls in here. Hello. When? I haven't been in California and I'm not going there. And you can leave now. I'm not going to put up with you. It was the orange cat. Couldn't get hold of her. Oh, you know who it is? Okay. Let me know in chat. In Messenger. I would like to know who it is. Oh. I know, I seen her. Well, be that way. Don't share it with us. Thank you all for being here. Not nice. Mason and Dave needs to sit in the corner for a while. With their nose in the corner. Yep. Yeah, I know. Don't you think? I don't like Rocky Road. Yep. Yep, I know you guys got it. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the party is going to be at Dave's. Thanks for telling me that, but I don't think Sarah's doing that. Don't come in here and say that shit, because, it ain't gonna go with me. Yep, party at Dave's. He's downstairs now, so we can just go downstairs. I don't have to climb the steps. Yep. they're just sad people. I know it ain't Sarah. Okay. Oh, what I was reading? I was reading The Black Dog. Okay. The Little Black Dog. Billy Mansfield said that a little black dog followed him wherever he went, but he was the only one who saw it. So people thought he was kind of crazy to drive the dog away. Billy was always hollering at it, throwing rocks at it, but the dog always came back. The first time Billy saw the dog was the day he fought Silas Burton. Billy was just a young man then, but the Burtons and Billy's family had been feuding for years. When Billy saw Silas riding toward him, he went for his gun, and Burton went for his, but Billy fired first. He hit Burton in the back, knocking him from his horse. Burton's horse ran off, and his gun fell where he couldn't reach it. He lay there on the ground pleading with Billy not to kill him, but Billy killed him anyways. Burton's little black dog was with him when he was shot. The dog kept licking Burton's face and barking and snarling at Billy. In his anger, Billy killed the dog too. Bad. That wasn't much law enforcement in those days, so Billy wasn't arrested. But all that night he heard Burton's dog outside his cabin, scratching on his door and barking to be let in. I'm imagining this, Billy said to him. I shot that dog. It's dead. But the next morning Billy saw the dog. It was waiting for him outside. From then on, there was not a day when he didn't see it. And there wasn't a night when he didn't hear it scratching on his door, barking to be let in. From then on, Billy was always finding black dog hairs on his sofa, on the floor, in his bed, even in his food. And the house and the yard stank of dog. That's what Billy said. Whenever somebody told him there wasn't any dog to see, he'd say, maybe you don't see it, but I do. And I'm not any crazier than you are. Things went on like that for many years. Then one morning, in the middle of winter, neighbors didn't see any smoke coming out of Billy's chimney. When they went over to check, Billy wasn't there. A day or so later, they found his body laying in the snow in a field back of his cabin. Billy had plenty of enemies, and at first it seemed like somebody might have killed him, but there wasn't any mark on his body, and there weren't any footprints out there except for Billy's. The doctor said Billy probably died of old age, but there was something odd about his death. When the neighbors found Billy, there were black dog's hair on his clothes. There were even a few on his face. It smelled like dog had been out there, yet no one had seen a dog anywhere. Boy. That was kind of weird. Okay, see you later. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Mason's here. Who's sick? Who's not feeling good? Oh, yeah. I've been up to nothing. Just getting ready to go in the hospital. That's all I've been doing. I'm just gonna read a few out of books. Okay, this is called. This is out of the truck driver one. Trucker's Ghost Stories. Okay, this is a shadow person in Charlotte. Oh boy. Driving on the road with a big truck, you see all kinds of people. One day I was delivering a load in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was at about 11 in the morning in the springtime. The day was sunny and clear. I had to get on the interstate to go one exit over for the delivery. I was on I-77 near the I-85 split in Charlotte. Near the end of the entrance ramp to I-85 was what looked like a homeless person. He had his bag by his side, and there were a few trees, bushes in the area to obscure the bright sunlight of the day. As I passed him, I saw this figure was a man, but he was matey black. There were no skin tone features visible on him, and no shiny spots that suggest he was sweating. He had long black hair, and his clothes were crumpled in outline, but even that was made black. I noticed him and saw him through my side mirror. Then he ducked back under the bushes. I got a chill after I saw him. It has been said that there are shadow people that appear in this world, and I think I saw my first one. Whew. Yeah, I've seen shadow people. I got one in my home. His name is Alex. I see him every once in a while. He probably is. Skinwalkers in Arizona. We're still in the trucker one. As Navajo and Hopi, I had my share of weird experiences on and off the Navajo and Hopi res. One experience that I would like to share happened when I was 14 years old. I'm now 29. This experience that I have only shared with a small number of people. My brother, who is a hardened soldier, is still scared about what happened to us this particular evening. On with the story. As a teenager, I would visit my grandma at her home on the Navajo res for several weeks every summer. I loved to spend time with her, eat her delicious fried bread, and listen to her stories. Even so often, my grandmother would hire a worker, the harmless town drunk, to do odd jobs around her house and property. One evening, right before the sun went down, I was asked by my grandma to take him home, which was about 4 miles out of the valley where she lived. I was more than happy to, seeing that I was only 14 years old. I was asked to drive a truck. Mind you, on the res, nobody cares that you're only 14 years old and driving around. Hell, there's hardly anybody around to see you anyways. So my 9-year-old brother jumped in the truck cab with me. The worker and my dog shared a tailgate of the truck, and we were off. After I dropped the worker off at the shack that he and his brother calls a house, he headed back down the road to our grandma's. As I mentioned before, it was evening, and the sky was a deep red as the sun began to set behind us. We were leaving a nice dust trail from the dirt road, and the radio was playing music from the only radio station that could be picked up from the nearest town of Holbrook, Arizona. Nothing seemed unusual. Nothing felt weird. It was at this time that my eye caught movement of something in the bushes. A little up the road to the right of us, I remember slowing down. Think of that, it was only on the many free roaming sheep in the area that would dart out in front of the truck. As I passed where I thought I saw it, I sped up, thinking nothing else of it. Then, out of nowhere, I just felt this dark feeling of fear and dread. I had no idea when I was feeling this way, but I definitely felt that something was wrong. As I play this memory back in my head, there are only a few clear memories that I have of that evening. I clearly remember looking in my rearview mirror and seeing the dark silhouette of something very tall and very skinny. That seemed to be covered with some kind of hair or fur, running behind the truck after us. Whatever it wasn't a normal human or a human at all. I remember hearing my brother crying and my dog barking fiercely at whatever was chasing us. I remember speeding very fast and shaking violently as the truck bounced on the washboard dirt road. I distinctly remember that this thing was only getting closer as my brother cried, "It's coming up on your side." I remember being as scared as hell and thinking that I didn't want to die. At that moment, that I thought would be our last, I remember speeding around a bend in the road and seeing a car coming toward us in the opposite direction. At that moment, I felt instant relief and felt that whatever was following us was gone. Shaken up but alive, we made it to Grandma's house, wondering what the hell had just happened. We ran inside, not looking back, hoping that whatever was chasing us had not followed us home. As we told Grandma about our experience, she didn't seem too surprised, which surprised us. She responded by repeating stories that we already heard at one point or another about black magic, witches, and something that the Navajos call Ye Nalushi or skinwalkers. Needless to say, I didn't even want to look out any of the windows at all the rest of the night. As a matter of fact, I never drove again on the reservation at night until I was 21 years old. Without going too deep into the explanation, I'll just say that these skinwalkers are evil men and spirits that use black magic for evil doing. I'll tell you that as far-fetched as it may sound, they are real. I believe that if God and His greatness are real, the devil is equally as real and also has his way of showing himself. This may not sound very scary, and that may be due to my lack of writing skills. But what happened that eventually really did happen and scared the wits out of me. I invited everyone to visit the part of Arizona. If you have any doubts or want a huge scare, I promise you that you won't be disappointed. Now, that there, I'd be scared. I'm missing a book. There it is. Oh, okay. So did everybody like that story? Hmm. You like the story, huh? Kind of weird. What do you think, Midnight? Did Anita leave? Anita left me. Tony left me. Everybody left me. They didn't like my stories. No, she's probably over with Patty. They're probably all over there. Your party. Patty. Now I gotta think of her name. Just give me a few. I can't even think of it. The G Team. G Team Paranormal. No. No, she didn't do that. Is anybody gonna ring my bells today? Oh, okay. Anybody gonna ring my bells? No. Alex, you ain't gonna ring them? I gotta do some. Oh, does it? Oh, you can't stand the tools. I like running on tools. I like air tools. They're a lot of fun. Hey! Be right back. Yeah, they're quite good stories. I even have one called Haunted Lakes, but it's like a regular book. It's got then you have this, and you read this, and you'll then come over here. Then there's Mary's Tower Lights. You know, it's just. I'm gonna have to get some more because I'm almost through some of these. Yep. I might go. I'm gonna probably go tomorrow night too. Thursday? No. Friday, if I feel good, I'm gonna stream from the hospital. Yeah. Oops. You okay? Mommy's puppy. Yeah. I don't know how he's gonna feel when I'm gone. Come on. Get off my wire. Hold on a minute. Okay, let me get that. Well, it's nice having you here. Sit down. He wants in my lap. He's in it. He's sitting in my lap. Oh, he's gonna get down now. Oh, one person in here, huh? Must be my Mason. I get to tell Mason a little story. Mason gets the story when I'm ready to read it. You can't remember? What can't you remember? That you're old? Yep, okay. What book am I going to read out of for you? Not this one. Bite yourself what? Oh, really? That's good. Well, me and Mason always read stories when it comes to us two. This one here is called Harold. When it got hot in the valley, Thomas and Alfred drove their cows up to the cool green pasture in the mountains to graze. Usually they stay there with the cows for 2 months. Then they brought them back down to the valley again. The work was easy enough, but oh, it was boring. All day the two men tended their cows. At night they went back to their tiny hut where they lived. They ate supper and worked in the garden and went to sleep. It was always the same. Then Thomas had an idea that changed everything. Let's make a doll the size of a man. Oh, okay. He said, it would be fun to make, and we could put it in the garden to scare away the birds. It should look like Harold. Alfred said Harold was a farmer they both hated. They made the doll out of old sack stuff with straw. They gave it a pointy nose like Harold and tiny eyes like his. Then they added dark hair and a twisted frown. Of course, they also gave it Harold's name. Each morning on their way to the pasture, they tied Harold to a pole in the garden to scare away the birds. Each night, they brought him inside so that he wouldn't get ruined if it rained. When they were feeling playful, they would talk to him. One of them might say, "How are the vegetables growing today, Harold?" And the other making believe he was Harold, would answer in a crazy voice, very slowly. They both would laugh, but not Harold. Whenever something went wrong, they took it out on Harold. They would curse at him, even kick him, or punch him. Sometimes one of them would take the food they were eating, which they were both were sick of, and smeared it on the doll's face. "How do you like that stew, Harold?" he would ask. "Well, you better eat it, or else." Then the two men would howl with laughter. "All right, Midnight, thank you. I really appreciate you being here." One night after Thomas had wiped Harold's face with food, Harold grunted. "Uh-oh. Did you hear that?" Alfred asked. "It was Harold," Thomas said. "I was watching him when it happened. I can't believe it." "How could he grunt?" Alfred asked. "He's just a sack of straw. It's not possible." "Let's throw him in the fire," said Thomas. "And that will be that." "Let's not do anything stupid," said Alfred. "We don't know what's going on. When we move the cows down, we'll leave him behind. For now, let's just keep an eye on him." So they left Harold sitting in the corner of the hut. They didn't talk to him or take him outside anymore. Now and then the dog grunted, but that was all. After a few days, they decided there was nothing to be afraid of. Maybe a mouse or some insects had got inside Harold and were making those sounds. So Thomas and Alfred went back to their old ways each morning. They would put Harold out in the garden. Each night they brought him back into the hut. When they felt playful, they joked with him. When they felt mean, they treated him as badly as ever. Then one night, Alfred noticed something that frightened him. "Harold is growing," he said. "Hold on, I gotta go. I'll be right back." Yeah, you gotta go out. Come on. Oh, nobody's here. Oh no. Hello, my people. I was thinking the same thing, Thomas said. Maybe it's just our imagination, Alfred replied. We have been up here on the mountain too long. The next morning, while they were eating, Harold stood up, walked out of the hut. He climbed up on the roof and trotted back and forth like a horse on its hind legs. All day and all night long, he trotted like that. In the morning, Harold climbed down and stood in the far corner of the pasture. The men had no idea what he would do next. They were afraid. They decided to take the cows down into the valley that same day. When they left, Harold was nowhere in sight. They felt as if they had escaped the great danger and began joking and singing. But when they had gone only a mile or two, they realized they hadn't forgotten to bring the milking stool. Neither one wanted to go back for them, but the stools would cost a lot to replace. There really is nothing to be afraid of, they told one another. After all, what could a doll do? They drew straws to see which one would go back. It was Thomas. I'll catch up with you, he says, and Alfred walked on toward the valley. When Alfred came to the rise of the path, he looked back for Thomas. He did not see him anymore, but he didn't see Harold. The doll was on the roof of the hut again. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out a bloody skin to dry in the sun. That one was a little weird. That one was a little weird. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm done reading for tonight. Tomorrow night we'll read a few stories and we're going to do the spirit box tomorrow night. Alright. I'm going to call it a night. Oh, really? I have a whole bunch here. What to do with them? I can't remember what I did with mine. Oh, they're here somewhere. Yeah, if you guys all have a good night. Thanks for being here. And now I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Customs. Bye, Mason. Bye, James. Oh, Wayne. I'll get used to it.